As a terrible Battle Cats player myself, I've decided that I want to increase my skills by taking part in a challenge. Now that challenge is a very difficult one, and it's seeing how far I can get in the game without using any gacha units. Oh, and to make the challenge even more difficult, I will try to avoid boosting my cats, so they will always be at the bare minimum level required to beat a specific level. So those are basically the rules for this challenge, and I will be sticking to those rules for the entirety of the challenge, however long that may be. And to be honest, even after playing the game so many times and getting pretty far so many times, I still can't really estimate how far I can get without using any gacha units. Now, I honestly don't think I will get that far, because gacha units are very crucial for people that do not have any overpowered Ubers. My estimate is that I probably will struggle with this challenge after Empire of Cats. I assume right after I will struggle with it. And I'm estimating that I might get past Into the Future, the entirety of Into the Future. But I think my chances of doing that are quite slim. Oh, and just an FYI, you probably won't be seeing that much of my progression throughout the entirety of Empire of Cats. And the reason for that is that it's just simply not that interesting and challenging. And as it stands, when I'm in Empire of Cats, I'm not really that strong, meaning that me trying to do Stories of Legend will probably just be a huge waste of time. But don't worry, because I can assure you guys that there will be interesting parts to this challenge, even if it doesn't last that long. I anticipate us to be having lots of fun throughout the entirety of SOL and seeing how far we can get through that, and also just some of the Cyclone advents maybe, and just some other challenges. Maybe we could do some collab stages if they come around, and stuff like that. I think the most interesting part of this challenge will be seeing if we can actually exploit any usefulness of certain cats that other people before deemed useless. But of course, we can't forget the cats that are already deemed useful, very useful in fact, and those cats would be the crazed cats. The usefulness of these crazed cats will ultimately decide how far we do end up going in this challenge. So now that's about it for the introduction. Now it's time to get into the challenge itself. Oh, and if you're wondering what I did for the moon, well, don't worry. It's pretty much just drag and stack and you win. It's not a very hard stage, like the entirety of Empire of Cats, except for Chapter 3 Moon. But don't worry, we'll get to that. Anyways, starting off this challenge, upon completion of Empire of Cats Chapter 1, this actually unlocks a lot of stuff in the game now. We now have access to things such as Into the Future and Stories of Legend, and also just more Advent stages. However, they are not really relevant right now, considering we're not strong enough to do them, but we will do them later, like I've already said. Oh, and it's not that important, but we got Monaco from completing the moon. Also, I just thought I'd mention this. Just because this is a no gacha challenge, this doesn't mean that I'm restricted from rolling the gacha. In fact, the gacha is actually still sort of useful in this challenge, considering that it actually helps us get user rank when we upgrade those gacha units. User rank is overall helpful for getting things such as level 30 crazed cats, which is far down the line, but still will be relevant hopefully eventually, and just being able to increase the cap of pluses that we're able to get on our normal cats, which is very useful. And, of course, level 30 special cats, which will also be very useful. Now let's talk about the gameplay. As you can see, right now I am playing an Outbreak in Empire of Cats Chapter 1. This has appeared because I've completed the chapter, and one appears every time you complete any story mode chapter. I'm gonna be completely honest, challenging outbreaks when your cats are level 10 is a bad idea. It is pretty much impossible to lose unless you have some really good gacha units or some Ubers, which we obviously aren't allowed to use. Now, although everything may look good right now, and it looks like we're gonna win, this is where the effect of zombies burrowing comes in. And also the effect of zombies not giving you money until they're dead, and considering I don't have a zombie killer, this is very detrimental, and meaning that we cannot get any money unless we kill the zombies twice, which is gonna take a while. And as you can see, without meat shields to protect our cats that were way in the front attacking the base, they ended up dying, and now our base is getting destroyed. Now, this is the power of the almighty zombie seal. And yeah, it's a bit too strong for where we are at this point in the game. Now, the reason I've shown this is just to demonstrate that it's not necessarily a good idea to always try things the second they're available in this game, because sometimes they can end up being too difficult. And it can be really, soul-crushing. But that's why you have to progress in a linear manner. And that's also another reason why I've decided to do this challenge, because I've wanted to show everyone else how exactly to progress smoothly through Battle Cats. And obviously in this case, it's probably just the early game. So you can feel free to treat this as a progression guide as well, for as long as it lasts. Now, as you can see right now, we have decided to tackle into the future, which is not a good idea, but I'm doing it anyways, just because into future, it's pretty fun. And also, I'm gonna be honest, I am sick and tired of Empire of Cats. Even one chapter of treasure grinding kills me. Now, the first few stages and into the future, they won't be very challenging, I'll be honest. However, the difficulty will pick up very rapidly, starting when you face the first alien boss that is, and that is the alien hippo. Now, in this video, you're not actually going to see me face the alien hippo because I kind of ran out of energy, I'm going to be honest. And if I did face it, I would probably lose. This is just another example of linear progression and how not to follow it properly. We're going through a little showcase here, and now we're done showcasing zombie outbreaks into the future. Let's showcase all the stages that are available now. But more so, we're highlighting the stories of legends. So yep, these are the yellow stages at the bottom, such as this one. And yeah, another thing is the energy costs. Stories of Legend can be very costly on the energy side of things, and so it's just overall not a very smart idea to attempt to start Stories of Legends anyways, because you're going to run out of energy really quickly. Anyways, with that out of the way, let's finally get back to Empire of Cats treasure grinding. Yay! Look guys, it's my favorite level, Korea, which is now just gonna get steamrolled by my giraffe cat. Yeah, the funny thing about starting over again in Empire of Cats, your cats are just gonna steamroll the first few levels, and they're pretty much just considered interlude levels, which are levels that aren't really that challenging. But before, they were actually kind of challenging. If you remember, if you guys have been playing Battle Cats, which I assume you have been, your basic cat and your wall cat and that were actually your main weapons at the beginning of Empire of Cats and the game, which, they weren't very strong, so you did not steamroll through these levels at all. But now, thankfully, we can, which is really good because that makes treasure grinding so much easier. Thank you, Giraffe Cat, who is our main rusher now. Since the gameplay isn't interesting right now, I will go ahead and shout out Regit, who actually kind of inspired me to do this challenge. I believe that this is like the hardest challenge that a Battle Cats player can put themselves through. And that's why I have a lot of respect for what Regit did with his series. I do think he might have broken the rule on a few occasions, but they were completely understandable, such as the Red Cyclone. I mean, if you have to do that with just Bean Cats, you're kinda screwed. Which is gonna be me. Overall, respect, Spoon Boy. Alright, so I'd like to end this video off by showcasing the units that I've gotten from the gacha so far. So not heartbreaking at all. Just look at all of those gacha units that are useful and that I also cannot use at all. And that includes this guy, Lizard Demon Cat. I know you guys are all in awe right now, but yeah, that means I can't use a really overpowered Uber I just got.